Boy, did you just miss
40 minutes.
Yeah, 40 minutes, 600 people in the chat right now. The live chat's going crazy. You fucking missed it all. What can I say? Don't be on YouTube. We're on Rumble also at Molly Sleuth, and that's for the depraved chat. And then all the nice girls are going to the Kate Awakening chat. Tom Q Cat is in Kate's chat and says, "Where's Kate?" I am Kate's big sister in more ways than one, Molly, and I take over her channel on Friday nights because she's a very nice, giving sister. It must be something about stealing my 1984 Jackson 5 Victory Tour muscle shirt. She's trying to make up for that. Okay, let's get back to the list, see if there's anything else that's fun there. Guys will raise their eyebrows when they first see you or when they're talking to you. Otherwise, they wouldn't be raising their eyebrows. But I think what's interesting about guys particularly, and they lose this at 5 years old, typically, is that unless they're trying to manipulate it, there's people like Tom Cruise. Did I mention that I'm single? Tom?
You and Tom.
Yeah. I don't care.
Celebrity crush.
I'll pat him on the head and be like, let's make out. Boys typically lose this at 5 years old, is smiling with their teeth showing. You'll get a lot of dudes smiling in various different ways that don't show their teeth. So if you get a genuine smile, and actually they call it a Duchenne smile, although Tyra Banks calls it smize or something. This is obviously a fake smile. My eyes aren't crinkling. No. But when you're actually smiling because something's funny, then you'll squint. And Tom Cruise is very good at that. Tom, it's area code 323. Yeah, proxemics, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I'm over myself. So we're good. I don't have any. Nobody met that criteria. Nobody's trying to make out with me in the cot room hallway. So
not yet. Your raspy, 10 packs of.
Right. The light turns on. Oh, sorry. I thought you were a 90-year-old man. I got to go.
Oh my God. Well, tell us a story. Tell us a wee dating story from your past.
I'd like to think that, I feel like I'm fun. I'm a little bit, out there, whatever, but I'm so normal and traditional. So I don't know how I end up going on dates with these human embodiments of explosive diarrhea. I just I see red flags. I've had dates. Okay. This one was a blind date. So I can't take any responsibility for this one at all whatsoever. My best friend's cousin's best friend. That's all I know. And he bartends at a bar. And I'm in my 20s where it's still normal to be a barfly and not to worry about a guy being a bartender and he's around those girls,
Yeah.
Oh, my mom says you're dirty mouth. I didn't even cuss that I heard, so we'll have to have a cuss tracker. Who has the technology must exist that there could be a cuss tracker? My husband is acting this all out and giggling. He's grooming like a cat too. Just trying to share the love, hiking cat lady. I'm glad that you're getting some action.
I know. At least one of us is.
So this is so many years ago, but he calls me to set up this date, and we picked a time and an event. That's typically how a date works.
Yeah. Yes.
I will pick you up. Loose tea. Got a lot of loose tea in my mouth. I got it's not tobacco, it's tea. I'm gonna move on to my lovely
Oh, so beautiful.
I know, it's gorgeous. That's why it's on the side I can see, so that only I can make out with them. So we had a time, and we were going to go out to dinner. That was it. That's all. My whole instructions. Didn't know where we were going to go, but whatever. I have to choose. I have to prepare for that. And whatever time he was going to be over, 6, who knows. I'm ready. I don't want to like start a project. And this was that tiny little apartment that I lived on Melrose, that real small apartment. And so it's like if I open a drawer, like pick out or do anything, like it's out because it was an efficiency apartment.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to like start a project or like do anything because my place was all super clean. He was going to pick me up. And he was an hour and a half late. And like, if you're an hour and a half late and he lived like 10 minutes away, then you know an hour and 20 minutes ago, like an hour and 40 minutes ago, actually, that you weren't on your way over. Like, let me know. Especially since this is like kind of before cell phones, but
100%, yes.
I would have had dinner and then been ready for dinner number 2. So by the time he knocks on the door, like I'm livid already. Already the guy is done, dead to me, not getting any kind of second date. And I'm ready to like eat my purse because I'm just like starving. Yeah. He said, we're going to go to dinner, right? So he knocks on the door and I open the door and he has this like fedora on. And I was trying to be nice and I'm like, cool hat. He takes it off, Danielle. He places it in front of his crotch-ticular region. He mock fornicates with this hat in my doorway. This is the first moment of us being in each other's lives. He mock fornicates with it and he goes, thanks, it's beaver. And then he places it back on his head. And I'm like, is this where this date's going?
My goodness.
Wait till I call my friend. So I'm like, cool, let's go. I'm hungry. So where are we going to eat? And he's like, oh, I just ate. Well, what are we doing then? Right. You invited me out to eat at the time that you decided to go out to eat. Like, what is the purpose of this date? So we get down to the street and we get in his car. He's got an old car, not like a cool car. It's just like a car that has managed to like escape the pick apart. I don't care, whatever. But it's the first time I've been in a car that had one of those like things that tells you when your seatbelt isn't on. So I sit down and it's like, it's like a 70s car. So it's like, and I'm like, so I get up, like, am I too fat for your car? And he could have just said, it's the seatbelt thing, put your seatbelt on. Or he could have just been like, no, of course you're not. It's the seatbelt. Like, there's a million things. But this is what he says. This is what I hate about California. Everybody's so goddamn sarcastic. It's okay. This is going well. So finally, I figure out that it's the seatbelt thing. And I was like, so where are we going? Since we're in a vehicle moving, going eastbound, like, where is this that we're headed to? Well, if you're hungry, I'll just, we'll go to my house and I'll make you something to eat. Hold on, sir. Yeah, we're not going to your house. Because here's what's going to happen. You're going to put the moves on me. I'm going to kick your ass. You're going to have to drive me home anyway. It's going to be really awkward. Like, I'm good. Like, I thought we were going to dinner. No. You don't understand. Like, I'm a really good cook. And I want to cook for you. Like, you're such a good cook that you didn't cook for yourself tonight. Like,
yeah.
No. I'm going to take you to my house. I'm going to cook. And I'm like, all right, but I'm calling my friend. You're going to be in trouble. So we go to his house. He lives in Los Feliz, which is sort of like a hipster area of Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And he's showing me this, probably 1920s craftsman home. It's nothing like, amazing, spectacular. This is actually the original banister and, from 1928, blah, blah, blah. And like, he's like showing me the place. We're working our way up the stairs. And I'm like, this guy, he's a fucking amateur. Like, I know where this ends. The tour of the bedroom. Like, this is like 100 miles away. But no. Then we walk into the bathroom. And he's like, oh, yeah, here. This is the bathroom. Like, yeah, I kind of got that. There's the toilet, sink. Yeah, it's the bathroom. Then he says, And if you have to take a big shit, like you just have to make sure that you like wiggle the handle like this, because otherwise sometimes it doesn't like flush all like, oh yeah, I'm good, thanks. Like big shit's taken care of, thanks. Then he opens the cabinets across from the toilet. There was like a little linen cabinet that you could reach when you're sitting on the toilet. And he says, and in case you wondered, this is where we keep the porn. And there's all these magazines because he's got like a male roommate there. And of course, you totally want to like thumb through the same magazines as your roommate did, right? Yeah. Oh man, I liked page 47 too. Oh, like, I don't know. Anyway, so he's like, oh, in case you wondered, here's where we keep the, I'm like, oh boy, did I wonder. So then he goes into his bedroom, which is the last stop on this tour. Shocker. And he like lays down on his bed all like sideways flat, and he like pats the bed. So he kind of looks like that Michael Jackson like Thriller album cover or whatever. And he pats the bed and he's like, come here. I'm like, yeah, we're good. Hey, I got a dresser that matches your dresser. I found it at a thrift store. That's crazy. We have the same dresser. I'll be downstairs. So I go downstairs and he's like, no, come here. Like, we're good, bro. I'm waiting for you to make my food. And so I sit down there. I think I'm down there maybe 15 minutes, like a long time, a long pregnant pause. Because I think he thought that he was going to like wait me out, that I would just be like, oh my God, he's not coming down. I guess I better go upstairs and take all my clothes off. Like, bro, I'm on the couch. Like you can come down or not, but I'll be down here tomorrow. So he finally comes down. He's like, what did you want to eat? Like, oh, I see in your deflated tone that didn't go the way that you wanted. Do you have food, sir? Yeah, what do you want to eat? Could I have a menu? Like, how do I know what you have? Yeah. Well, I mean, just like, what do you want? You're the culinary whiz. Wow me with your spectacular, skills. So finally I go into the kitchen because I'm like, well, let me just see what you have, since you're not giving me like 2 choices or 12 choices, or do you like one choice? And so I pop open the freezer and I'm like, oh, ice cream. I want ice cream. And he goes, you can't have ice cream for dinner. Thanks, Dad. Like, I want ice cream. You said, what do I want for dinner? There it is. I want ice cream. He's like, no, I want to cook for you. I want to make you something really good. I'm really good. Then he says, I'm going to make you spaghetti.
Oh, so fancy.
I'm like, cool, but I'm having ice cream first. So I get my ice cream in a bowl. I go back to my couch. He puts on some like documentary of the life of some cowboy country. I don't know who it was. It was something I had zero interest in at all. You should watch this. It's really good. Cool. I'm just watching my ice cream and like waiting for you to take me home. This is basically like where we're at. Anyway, I hear a couple of things going on in the kitchen. And then there it is, my spaghetti. So he doesn't have a kitchen table or anything. So he brings it to me so I can continue to watch this fucking nonsense. And the spaghetti, I don't know how to explain it, but it was that like sharp, sweet smell. You know, like SpaghettiOs has that tomato sauce that like no tomatoes were harmed in the making of this sauce.
Yes.
It was like that pungent, sweet, weird thing. And like, there's not even like, there's no Parmesan. There's not like a twig apart. Like it's just noodles and a jar of popped over it. Right. And so I'm like, cool, thanks. So it really wasn't good spaghetti. There was nothing to it. He didn't make anything. He opened a jar and he boiled some noodles, but whatever, we're 20. So I'm trying to be, dutiful, and I'm eating the spaghetti. And like now looking back at it, like it could have been like spiked with something, since he clearly had an agenda, but naive 20, whatever year old me was just like eating my spaghetti. So then I'm eating the spaghetti and he's trying to tickle me. Like we're sitting side by side on this couch and he's trying to tickle me. And I'm like, okay, yeah, you can just like stop. Like I know people laugh when they get tickled, but it's actually not fun at all. Like I don't like being tickled. Can you just like not. So then he puts his hand like over me and he's like trying to massage my shoulders. I'm like, really not okay with the massage. Like it makes me really tense. I don't want to massage. Just don't massage me. Don't. Mm-mm. Then he tries to go back to the tickling. Is it possible for you to just not touch me? I'm trying to eat your shitty spaghetti, and then you're going to take me home. Just don't touch me. Just stop touching me. So it's real quiet, and I feel like he might apologize. Like, oh, shit, we got off on the wrong foot. I'm really sorry. I usually go a lot slower. It's just that you're the most beautiful girl that I've ever seen, and I really have been looking forward to this date. This is what I think is going to come out of his mouth, Danielle, but no. No. This guy says, Hitler did studies on babies that weren't touched within the first 2 weeks of their birth, and they died because we all need the human touch. And he reaches out for my goddamn tit. I'm not even kidding. I karate chopped his arm. I was like, you're taking me home. That's it. Like, Hitler, we're done here. Check, please. So we get back in his car. Now I'm letting the seat buzz because I'm over it. And I figure he's taking me home. I mean, wouldn't you? The date is over. You ain't getting nothing out of it. Just drop me off. It's on Melrose. So we go to this bar on Virgil and Melrose called the Smog Cutter. They finally burned that place to the ground. This place was so vile. There were these 2 ex-prostitutes that owned it. And you would go in there. This is the only time I've ever been in the Smog Cutter, but I had heard stories and they were all true. Men would go in there and be like, yeah, can I get whatever drink? And the girls would go, blah, blah, blah. And then they would make them a drink and go, here you go. And they were making out with men across the bar, these bartender ladies. So I'm like, oh, who wants their lips on top of these glasses?
Right.
This has concentrated Los Angeles syphilis all over every one of these. These ladies are making fun. They're making out with all these guys. What? So he turns to me like he's going to be chivalrous. And he's like, what do you want to drink? You don't want to add alcohol to this mood. I'm good. Thanks.
Yeah.
And he's like, you got to get something. No, I don't. I don't have to get nothing. So he orders himself a double whiskey with a beer back. And I'm like, wow. I mean, way to turn it up to 11, 3 drinks in one single order. And he's like, you have to get something. What are you getting? And I'm like, you're just so annoying. So I turn to the prostitute and I'm like, I'll have a Shirley Temple. And he goes, she'll have a Shirley Temple. Oh, thank you. You're so chivalrous. So then he tells me that he's going to the shitter. I think he called it the shitter, but I'm not entirely certain. He walks off while the prostitute is making our drinks. There's 2 girls sitting in a booth. I said, let me squeeze in. I'm on the worst date of my life. This guy's going to come back. He's going to try to give me a drink. I don't want it. Here's the plan. You do not look at him. You do not speak to him. You do not act like he even exists. You don't acknowledge any of his questions. You do not let him sit down. He doesn't exist. Are we clear? And these girls were like, oh my God, this is really fun. It's not fun. It's not fun at all. So he gets out of the shitter and he goes to the prostitute and he gets the drinks and he brings them over to the table. And it's a low, table like in a Mexican restaurant or whatever.
Oh, man.
And a curved booth. I'm in the center, flanked by 2 girls that have been given explicit instructions. Do not move over. And so he's trying to get them to scoot over. And they were doing their job. Just talking to me like he does not exist. And so he gets this big bar stool and he drags it over, right? So now he's sitting way higher than us because he's on a bar stool. And we're at this thing and he slides the drink over to me. He's like, here's your drink. And I'm like, anyway, yeah. Oh my God, I know. I tried those shoes on actually, but I didn't like the open toe. And so these girls in there just having this conversation, totally ignoring him. He goes swig, glug, 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 and he goes back to the bar. he's going to order another round. And I'm like, dude, what the hell's going on? Oh my God. Like, he just drank like 3 alcoholic beverages in like 29 seconds. Like, this is concerning. So he goes and he gets another double whiskey with a beer back, plunks it down, sitting on his high chair. We're still ignoring him. Glug, 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 glug. And I'm like, okay, are we done here? Like, I'm going to be outside. I'll wait for you outside. Just take me home. I'm done. Like, I don't want to be here. He's like, okay, yeah, I'll meet you outside. I figure that he is paying his bill and then he's going to come outside. So I'm standing on Virgil and Melrose, not the most delicious area to meet your fellow humanity.
Yes.
And eventually, like, too many crackheads had walked by. There was chaos ensuing. And I'm like, I'm just going to like dip in real quick and see what the hell it's taking him so long, since there's like 2.9 people in the bar. And, you know, it shouldn't take him that long to close out his tab. And as I walk in, he is turning away from the bar with another double whiskey with a beer back to go sit at his little stool with the girls ignoring him. And I'm like, wait, 9 drinks in like 10 minutes? Like, what the hell? So he finishes them. He finally gets in the car. I'm letting the seat buzz. I figure it's been like 10 minutes. Like, he's not even drunk yet. It's not hit him. He's going to die on the way home, probably. But like, just get me home, because I lived super close, right? And so he does a little U-turn, parks in front of my big-ass building to let me out. I don't say good night. I don't say thank you. I don't say F you. I get out of the car. I open the door all the way. I get out of the car, and I just walk to my apartment door. I don't turn back. I don't close the door. I don't acknowledge him in any way. I leave his car door open, and I just go into my apartment like my friend is in trouble for sending me on this date with this guy, Hitler, to touch my tits. I think it's over. But Danielle, he called me at like 9:30 the next morning. He's like, hey, I just wondered if you want to go out for breakfast. Like, you're alive? Wait, what part of the date were you not on last night? Because, like, you literally tried to use Hitler as an excuse to grope me. Like, I feel like you should have known, but I'm not. Yeah, brunch? I don't think so. Thanks. It's terrible.
It's insane.
I know.
You never saw him again, I assume.
No.
Did you
never?
Know
oh, I might have seen him once at that bar, because I think my friend Allie brought me to that bar one time, and he was like behind the bar, and I was like, but I did not speak to him.
Yeah. Did you yell at your friend for setting?
Oh yeah. I was like, what? And she, I didn't know you'd be like that. Like, well, cross him off your little black book. I ended up dating the cousin, though. Very, very quickly. He played the saxophone. It's kind of cool.
I will say that never once. I have been set up by friends with blind dates before. I probably have had like 4 instances of a blind date that a friend set me up on. All of them were awful, horrible.
Isn't it fascinating to find out like who your friends think you're compatible with?
Yeah.
My friend Allie, now, in her defense, she is a lesbian, so I don't know that she's necessarily the best judge of dateable men. And this was the weirdest date. My date with this guy was to go with Allie and her girlfriend apartment hunting. That was our date. Anyway, He comes to the same door, because I was still at that same apartment, and to pick me up. And he looks like a lumberjack. He has this like big brawny beard and this like flannel on. And I'm like, hello. So we're driving around looking for apartments for the girls. I'm just cracking jokes in the back seat. And the guy is just like code blue, like just doesn't even crack a smile, doesn't think I'm funny. Like, I mean, at least if you thought I was funny, I might go out with you, but there's no redeeming quality. I don't even know what you look. You could have Sharon tattooed across your chin, and I would have absolutely no idea. I don't know what you look like, and you have no personality. So we're good here. Check, please.
Oh my God. Well, You did have another story. I know it's a long one. I don't know if you want to tell the one-eyed stripper story. I don't.
Everybody wants the one-eyed stripper story. I know.
Yes.
The thing is, like, these are the 2 stories that I'm willing to tell, but I've had so many stories. But Hiking Cat Lady says Tom Cruise is from Syracuse, New York, if I remember, because I did a biography on him in 6th grade, and he was the youngest of a large family. Oh, he's the baby of all sisters.
Wow.
I guess I could see that. Yeah, I guess I could see that.
So he really knows how to treat
spaghetti. Hi, Rose the Slart. Call a cab. I don't even know, like, were there even really, I guess there were cabs back then.
Yeah, you could have.
I guess I could have. I mean, honestly, in my mind, Rose the Slart found the bouncing tits. I mean, that's just pure delight. Chef's kiss. That's a lot better than a bowl of spaghetti. That's Chef Boyardee. There we go. Right when I'm brushing my teeth, I laugh. Sorry, Kara. Did you have to drive him home? No, Rod. I think he died on the way home. I don't know how he called me at 9:30 in the morning. I didn't even know that the jail let him have calls. He did call me. I did turn him down. Kara says, I've been waiting for the one-eyed stripper story. Let's do it. Okay.
No.
One, I met this guy in a goth club. So can we all just fully acknowledge that piece right there? Goth clubs are not typically known for like where the alpha male goes as his watering hole. Would you agree, Danielle?
Yes. Most of the men there wore more makeup than I did, wore full pantyhose, heels.
Right.
And
this one was kind of no different. I guess we got to have a name for him because do I dime him out? I dime everybody out. I don't care. It really happened. The sad thing is that people think some of my stories are like baloney, but like, you know me and you know, there is no reason for me to tell a tall tale because my life is crazy enough. Should we have a different name for him?
I love to make up names for people.
Okay. Well, here, I'll start telling the story.
All right.
I'll say the suspect, and eventually you can come up with a name for him. So I meet the suspect at the goth club. Now, he's one of these guys who like always has to have the hair done and wear the eyeliner and these like, custom leather coats that he has done.
Wow.
It's very feminine, but it's also sort of like the scene kind of.
Yeah.
You want that sort of androgynous kind of, David Bowie sort of thing. Not really this guy though. He wasn't really, he tried, but. So we didn't date that long. So this story is going to sound like we dated for like 3 years. Not the case. But I didn't know what the word gaslighting was. I didn't know what the term was. I didn't know that was like a thing, like a weird mindfuck thing.
Manipulation tactic, yeah.
Right. I didn't know. But I was a sleuth long before I was a detective. And like things just didn't add up. A lot of things didn't add up. And so I went to his house. First of all, he lived in a duplex. He lived above his grandma. It was his grandma's house.
Oh.
And,
grandma's boy.
Right, grandma's boy. Lived above grandma. And his place was pretty soulless. Here's why I think I should have known we were not compatible from the very beginning. This has nothing to do with the story. My bed was a wood sleigh bed with flannel sheets, lots of blankets, warm, womb-like, cozy, comfortable, loving.
Yes.
He slept in a wrought iron cage with purple satin sheets and one thin prison blanket. You should have known. Not compatible.
Yeah, no, that sounds horrible.
Mm-mm. Yeah, not a fan of satin sheets. It just feels like slimy. But anyway, so one time, so I say the gaslighting thing because one instantaneous moment popped into my head. This is like the beginning of cell phones. In fact, the cell phone number I have now, No, it was a cell phone number before that. We got the cell phones together. And I was like, oh, that's my favorite. Can I have the one that ends in 6 or whatever? Because that's my favorite number. I'll be having that one. And he like gave me the other one. Oh. Anyway, I have a new cell phone number. Don't call me suspect. But so we're driving westbound 3rd Street. Nobody cares about that. And we're pulling into the Kmart parking lot on Fairfax and 3rd Street. And his cell phone rings. This is like the beginning of cell phones. So it's like, I'm on my car phone. Well, how can I, like,
yeah.
I mean, so he picked it up. The conversation is exactly this and no longer. Hello? Hey, yeah, I'm at lunch. My grandma. Yeah, okay, talk to you later. Did you just tell somebody you're at lunch with your grandma? What are you talking about? Dude, you just got off the phone. You just said, hello, I'm at lunch. Pause, my grandma. Okay, bye. That's the whole conversation. You're hearing. That's the only thing I did hear. I didn't hear the person on the other side of the phone. I just heard you very clearly tell somebody you were at your lunch with your grandma. There wouldn't be any other reason to say it. Hey, it's me. Cool, yeah. Hey, just quick question. Who's your favorite person? My grandma. All right, bye. Like, it's just like, there wouldn't be any reason. What are you doing? I'm at lunch. Quick, like, who's the oldest person you know? My grandma? Like, thanks. Like, there's no reason. So he would do this stuff like all the time. Because here's the thing. I'm just going to dispel the myth of the universe to you people. Dumb people don't know that they're dumber than you.
Yes.
That's it. That's the fucking 11 herbs and spices. Wrap it up. That's it. That's the mystery of the world. When people are dumber than you, they don't understand that you can see through it and go, bro, you literally just said at lunch, my grandma, what are you talking about? So there was this girl that used to go to the club. There was like a pack of them. And I think we were like, well, I'm older than you, but I think I was like 25 or something at the time. And these were young girls. They were like 18, 19, and they were very like awkward. Like they weren't the cool kids at school, clearly. They were wearing old clothes, but not like vintage cool clothes, or like they didn't have style. You know, they're just making their way. They're like little girls, right? But they would come to the club like in a little pack, and you could tell by the body language clearly that the really tall one had a crush on the suspect. Okay. And like, I don't care. That's not I will never get into any Jerry Springer fight over a man. If he wants you, good luck. Have fun. As they say in Japanese, ikonbidayo. It means they're a good combination, but it also means fuck them both. So anyway, this girl really liked him. And he would spend an inordinate amount of time flirting with her. I think he liked the attention and like, I don't really care.
Yeah.
But he would say things to me like, so disgusting. You know, she's a virgin. That's so gross. I mean, look at her. And like, that's what go back to the body language segment, girls. This is stuff that your man says when he is interested in somebody else. Mm-hmm. Because what he's really telling you is, I want to look at her.
Yes.
Because if a man's like, oh, she's disgusting, I don't want to look at her, he finds something else that he wants to look at. The fact that he keeps looking and keeps looking and keeps looking, he's interested in it. For all that he made fun of her for being ugly and awkward, and she looks like a man and blah, 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 he's still looking at her, right? So I'm like, okay, well, he likes her back. And like, I just met this guy like 4 minutes ago, so it's not like I'm going to fight over him. I don't really care.
Yeah.
But he would like lift her skirt up, and then she would be all like, oh my God, you know, like, and he's like, oh, I was like, really? Like, first of all, I work at this club. Like, it's really kind of embarrassing that you're coming into my workspace to lift some girl's skirt in front of me. Oh, you don't understand. It's this like whole inside joke thing that we have. Yeah, you know what? The entire club doesn't understand either. The whole club just knows that you and I are dating and you're lifting some other girl's skirt. I don't really care if it's the greatest joke on earth. Tell it another time. So, you know, like just gross stuff, not very honorable. So there's so many little weird stories, but so it was at the time in technology. that we were all on like AOL. So your AOL, like I was creepy Molly. I don't know why. It's totally not creepy. So you would come over to my house and be like, hey, can I email my mom? Sure, yeah. Get on my thing. Here, my password is whatever. And then you would email your mom from creepymolly@aol.com. Go, hey, mom, just want to let you know I'm at Molly's house, right? So your internet connection was connected to your email address.
Yes.
At that time. This is how old I am. Thank you. 50 and a half plus a couple weeks. There you go. Actually, 1 week. 50 and a half plus 1 week. Plus 1 day. You didn't give me a present. I'm okay with that. Oh, wait. I do have presents.
I did get you a present.
Danielle is going to give me diabetes. First of all, half the wrappers are already in the trash. I got so many good things everywhere. Those caramel things. My coworker, the executioner, she just mowed those things down. I was like, can I just like try one? They're gone. Okay. Really good stuff. Thank you.
Chocolate and caramel.
I think my favorite one is
everyone needs chocolate on Valentine's Day.
These gummies. They're super good. They're very firm. They're a good time.
We all like a firm gummy.
So I don't know where I was at. So
you're talking about AOL. So I go over to your house.
Right.
I get on AOL.
Let me use his computer.
Yes.
To get online and go, email my mom and do whatever. And so when you're talking about Dave, rewind back, Fourth Amendment, search and seizure, forward. When you're talking about right to know, need to know, search and seizure, I was given consent to get into the email inbox. And my eyes had the legal ability to see other subject lines while I'm in the inbox.
Sure, yeah.
I guess I should back up. He had a birthday party. I had a birthday party for him. But I didn't know any of his friends. I knew his one friend. This guy's suspect number 2. And so I said to suspect number 2, hey, I don't really know who his friends are. I will pay for the party if you deal with the guest list. Okay, cool. So I'm just going to say the suspect number 2's name because, I don't care, right? Doesn't matter. Let me go to the chat. All liked flannel. I've been waiting for the money stripper. The old dial-up internet. Yep. Exactly. So I throw this roller skating pirate birthday party where people have plastic hooks and eye patches, lots of balloons. It was a good time. I didn't really know anybody there, but his friend, suspect number 2, is helping throw this party. Cool things, appreciate it, blah, blah, blah. And so we go back to his, it's a couple days later, he invites me over. I sit down on his couch. He goes and gets the mail. He sits right next to me to read his mail. And he's got a birthday card, and he opens it right in front of me. And it's this golded, gilded, naked lady in repose. This Gustav Klimt painting of this naked lady. And in the inside, it says, happy birthday from a friend. And there's a heart over the I in friend. And I'm like, oh, you have a secret admirer. And he's like, no, it's totally stupid. Dude, look at this. Look at the heart. Oh my God, look at this golded, gilded, naked lady in repose. Oh my God, somebody likes you. Look at this heart. And he's like, no, you're being stupid. It's not even, that's not even it. That's not it at all. Well, who do you think sent you this card then if it's not a secret admirer? Come on, just look at the heart, And he goes, suspect number 2. Suspect number 2 sent you this card. It was the first person he could think of.
Sure,
suspect number 2 that gave you a card at the party he threw for you a couple days ago. Suspect number 2 sent you this golden, gilded, naked lady in repose with happy birthday from a friend. Did you see the heart? There's a heart. Suspect number 2, your dude friend, suspect number 2 did not send you this card. But now I'm pissed because if he just was honest about it and said, oh yeah, it's my ex-girlfriend, the one that's trying to be a mortician. She went to school. I said, women need to be totally devoted to me entirely. And I don't like the fact that you're going to go get a job. So I dump you, but then I completely regret it. And now every time I'm at the nightclub, I'm trying to smell her hair from across the room. And then like she would stand in the club and just like, like pose and stuff and like dance all like, like, like the two of them was like, just go be with each other. What is going on? So anyway, I kind of knew it was from the ex-girlfriend because the two of them were just like, they should have been together. And I was more upset at him lying about it because like if I would have gotten a card from my ex whatever, I would have just been like, it's from the Ghostbuster. I can't block him in enough places. I don't know. Like he just keeps trying to find me. Like it's over, bro. Move along. But I wouldn't be like, it came from suspect number 2. Like that makes me know that there's something up, right? So I'm like, whatever. So he lied about the card, but whatever. I mean, if he invites me over again, I'll just go in his emails and I'll see who sent him his card. Then we'll know. But it was like every little bit was like, I'm not dishonorable. I didn't do anything bad. You misunderstood. You're an idiot. You got it all wrong. You heard the wrong thing. Everything. So then after the card thing, I was like, all right, well, let's just watch a movie since I came over. So I go, he has a couple of movies. We've seen them all. And there's a DVD on top of the TV. So I go, what's this one? And I go to reach for it. And he karate chops my arm. And he goes, no, I don't feel like watching a movie. And I'm like, oh my God, like, okay, we don't have to watch a movie. He's like, I'm going to take a shower. Yeah, okay. I'm going to read the coupons that you got in the mail. So I go and sit and I'm like reading the coupons. And as soon as that water turned on, I'm like, what the fuck was that? So I look at it. It's called like Butt Brother Blowout or something. It's clearly man on man loving by the title. And like, okay, so he's got man on man loving content on his TV. Like, why don't you just like say something about it? You lied about suspect number 2 sending you this thing. Dude, this is from suspect number. Do you know what? I have hid this. One time I put in his Christmas stocking and he opened it in front of his grandma. We have been trading this CD to each other for 3 years. It doesn't get any better than that. Like you could have said something about it, but you didn't. You were just like, I'm going to take a shower. Like, okay, I'm going to look at coupons. How did he not know I wasn't going to look at it? Anyway, that wasn't the dark side for me because I had to come back a couple days later because I wanted to know. Oh, and then I think he had me like, we got all this fabric. He wanted me to make these like curtains. And I brought over my grandma's sewing machine and I'm all ready to do it, And like, I remember my mom, because she's very like traditional, saying like, you want the length of the width of the fabric to be 3 times the width of the window because you want it to have nice folds and not be, some just like bare sheet hanging.
Right.
So we got all the stuff and I got all the backing material because he wanted blackout curtains and he wanted purple velvet. And it was just like, sir, this is a little Butt Brother blowout, but all right, I'll do it. So then I'm like sitting down to make these curtains and like he leaves the room and he goes and like turns on cartoons and like kind of like how I was raised. If somebody is going to do some work for you, like you at least hold the flashlight.
Right.
So I go into his living room where I found Butt Brother blowout and I was like, you're not going to like come keep me company while I make your curtains? Like, how do you want them? Do you want them to be really wavy? Do you want tab tops? Do you want them to hang kind of flat? Do you want them pleated? And he says to me, it's just a window, just cover it. Attitude, Mr. Cartoons. You know what? I don't feel like starting a project this big today, so I'm just going to take my sewing machine and I'm going to go. We can do it another time since you're not in a big hurry, obviously, and I'm not in a big hurry to start a project this big. I'm going to go. Oh, so you're not going to do it? Because I guess I'll have to just call my ex-girlfriend and, see if she wants to spend the weekend or something, making the curtains for me. Oh, you think that she would do that? She would make the curtains for you? Yeah, if I called her, like, she'd probably make the curtains for me. Oh, well, that's cool. I got a coat in my trunk right now, and I ripped the armpit out. Could I just leave that with you? Could you have her do a little, while she's here? And then let me know when she's here, and I'll send you guys a pizza. Bro, you are not going to make me feel jealous over anybody on this earth. So this is like, I've only been over to his house like 4 times at this point. So the last time, I guess, that I was at his house, I went and used the computer. This was a couple of days after the birthday card thing, the whole suspect number 2, Gustav Klimt card. And I see an email from the ex-girlfriend, this mortician girl, who really, like, if you were standing in line next to her at the grocery store, you wouldn't even like look at her. She's very plain. From the best friend. Now, the best friend looks exactly like Hatchet Face from Crybaby. So Hatchet Face messages suspect number 1 and says, hey, happy birthday, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Oh, no, I think suspect 1 started the conversation, and he said, hey, tell my ex-girl, tell the mortician I got her card, and I miss her and love her as always. And then Hatchet Face had time to reply back. So Hatchet Face says, hey, I thought you were dating that Molly girl. What's up with that? So then suspect number 1 replies and says, she's a fat tomboy, not at all my type. It's not like I would marry her or anything. And I'm like, what am I doing here? If you don't like me, I mean, 1, a tomboy, I might not be boyish enough for you, according to Butt Brother Blowout. But, like, if you don't, what am I doing here? Why did you invite me over today? It's just so weird. Like, if you're not interested, like, I have never knocked a man's door down, like, ever. You invited me over. I'm here. But it was actually really cool to see, like, what he thought of me. And so, besides the fact that I was like 75 pounds lighter than I am at this very moment. So fat tomboy, I feel like, although you might have weighed 100 pounds soaking wet, sir, like, to call me fat, I don't know about that. So she said fat tomboy, not whatever, blah, blah, blah. That was the conversation. So I'm like, well, at least you like know what somebody thinks about you. I mean, that's like the best that you could ever hope for, is to like see behind the velvet curtain and know like how your boyfriend feels about you. So I'm about to close out and just like take my marbles and go home. There doesn't need to be any kind of argument. I don't really care. Yes, I did look at his email. It's not about me looking at the email. That's not the problem. But then I see an email that says, thank you for joining Match.com. What am I doing here? Why did you invite me over? If you're looking for a side hustle, like, just let me go. You would have all day to just sit there and like talk to chicks if you're not inviting me over. I'm clearly not making your curtains. I'm not making anything else of yours either. So you might as well just like snip it and get back to your butt brother blowout and your Match.com. Like, live the life, dude. Watch your cartoons. Live the life. So I almost wanted to confront him about the Match.com. But then I knew that it was going to be some fucking story about, oh, my girlfriend, Elaine, like, she wanted to join Match.com, but she didn't know what her profile looked like from a guy's perspective. So, I just, being such a good friend, like, I joined so that I could tell her if her profile looked good. It's like, you're crazy. You just come up with these crazy things.
I think you're giving him too much credit. He would have been like, what are you talking about? What's Match.com?
Right. So I'm starting to get my, like, conniving headspace going. I'm like, I gotta call my mom. My mom likes a good time. Mom, this is what's going on. He joined Match.com. What should we do about it? My mom's like, ooh, a project, right? There were no moms harmed in the making of this story. And so, I mean, my mom, she's just such a honey badger. Like, she will like fight for us, even if it's something stupid. Like a guy named Tim, I mean, suspect number one, cheating on me on the internet. So I joined Match.com. I paid $14.95 and I put up my profile. And instead of Molly, I made my name Holly in case there was any like ping of like guilt or like, oh, I shouldn't be doing this. Oh yeah, I actually already have a Molly. Like, so I made my name Holly and I made her the dumbest profile that the planet has ever seen. Because here's the thing, Danielle, if she was gorgeous and smart and funny and successful and all the things, like then it would just be like, oh, yeah, you could get her. Yeah, well, I'll just step out of the way. Could I get a picture with her real quick? Like, oh my God, you just are so amazing. But like if she's an absolute like bridge troll, then it's like, bro, this isn't about me. This is about you and your problems. So I wanted to make her just as low worth as possible. I send the first message. I say, hi, I'm from Chicago and I'm just looking for friends and fun. What are you all about? And I picked Chicago because my dad was from Chicago. I had never been there before. I didn't know anything about it, but my mom lived there for a little bit. So I thought she might be able to tell me about maybe like a restaurant that was there. I don't know. We just decided on Chicago. I'm from Chicago. I'm just looking for friends and fun. What are you all about? He replies, I like dirty secretaries and latex fetish wear. And I'll tie you up if you want.
Oh.
What? I mean, I know you live in the sterile cage of cold hell, but like, I didn't even know about the dirty secretaries and the latex fetish wear, and I'll tie you up if you want. Because we didn't get past the curtain phase. So I'm like, wait, what? One, I don't even have a picture up because it's like still early in the internet where you don't have like Google image search where I can go like ugly bitch and like go, ooh, that one, that's the good one, right? And like screenshot it and like use it. So I'm like, well, then that's good anyway, because he always used to say form before function. Like he couldn't go out until he had like the eyeliner on and like the hair all done and everything. And he would make me wear high heels to the grocery store. And then I carried the basket. Oh my God. This one time we were at the grocery store. We're in line. We only went to the grocery store, I think, once. And I'm putting the things, I'm carrying the basket in my high heels. He's standing there like worthless. And I'm putting the things on and really not paying attention to him. He's behind me and there's people in front of us, people behind us, and he grabs my butt so hard, like just a piece of meat, like just grabs my butt like really hard. And I was shocked. And I turned around and with the same ferocity, I grabbed the front of him and I was like, it's so tiny. I love it. It's so small. And I turned back around and I just kept putting the shit on the conveyor and was like, and the person behind me was losing their fucking mind laughing. And I was like, well, it fucking serves you right. So we went, we paid, we got through the line. And I was like, bro, don't you fucking ever touch me like that. So Holly and Tim, love, match made in heaven. But she's dumb as hell. She says, oh, I like beach volleyball. And he's like, oh, I was thinking about joining a league. Like, oh, really? Oh, really, goth boy with your eyeliner on. Tell us more about your time at the beach. And she's like, yeah, I was just wondering, like, if you knew where I could find any. Like, and everything is like so misspelled that it's hard to type out. And my mom and I were having so much fun writing these letters back and forth to him, just like, no, say this. It sounds dumber. Yeah, that's good, right? And so he was just like trying so hard to like get this girl. And she's like, well, I used to be a stripper, but I hung up my lucite heels and I'm trying to go legit. Now I'm going to be an actress. And I changed my last name to Woodman. So it'd be Holly Woodman. Isn't that cool? Like, he was like, that's so cool. Like, it was just so stupid. Anyway, they only shared like 4 emails. Like, it really was they, me, and him. Only shared a few emails. And he finally like goes in for the kill and he says, I want to meet. Let's plan a date.
Yeah.
Danielle, he decided that he wanted to meet her at Perversion. Perversion. The nightclub that I've worked at for 4 years. That's where he's going to meet her. He wants to meet her at my work while I'm there. And I'm like, what? Wait, there's no way. He can't possibly be this stupid. I worked the coat check there. I see every person as they walk in the door and pay and come through the curtain. I see the entire dance floor. I see everyone at the bar. As they say in the Breakfast Club, I am the eyes and ears of this institution. There is no way you could sneak a little date in front of me. I literally know who has banged who. People come to me for this kind of information. Hey, what do you know about that girl? Well, I know that her boyfriend pulled her out by the ear about 3 months ago, and I haven't seen him since. So I think she's still single. Like, people would come to me for that kind of intel.
Yeah, but like, as you said earlier, people that are stupid, dumber than you don't realize, how dumb they are. I think habitual cheaters think they'll never get caught. They think they're almost like, invincible and they're so much smarter. And so,
He would always tell me how smart he was. And at this point, I didn't know if he was on to me. I thought there might be a possibility that he's like, oh, a date, huh? How about we meet at this workplace? And do you have any shirts that say I love Molly? At that point, I kind of felt like maybe he knows. Like, how does he know?
Yeah.
How would he know? Like, I don't know how he would know. So me says back to him, great. My aunt will drop me off because I don't have a car because I'm a big fat loser. And then this was my mom's part because I have never seen this movie, but my mom said this be a good joke. She said, and I'll bring a flower like in You've Got Mail so that you know it's me. I still don't know what that joke means, but I sent it. And so he tells me, hey, I'm coming to Perversion on Thursday. Can you put me on the list? So I said, yeah, of course. You know what? I've been thinking about quitting my job anyway. So let's just I'll just leave my booth. It'll be my last night there. And then we can just dance together and steal secret kisses and just show everybody how in love we are, So then he emails her and he's like, something came up. I can't go. I'm actually going to have a barbecue at my house tomorrow. Like, oh, did you ask your grandma if you're going to have a barbecue? With what barbecue, sir? You're going to have a butt brother blowout barbecue at grandma's? That's what you're going to do? So he tells her, hey, I can't barbecuing, man stuff. But he said, let's meet for coffee next week. And this point, I'm livid and freaking out and going Mom, what do I do? I don't want to fake date him. For another minute. Clearly, I need to know if he knows or if he's just a big, total sack of worthlessness. And so some of those stories that I had told before happened during this week, during the Holly week, because at the same time he's writing Holly, he's inviting Molly over to his house. Holly is asking him questions like, well, when was the last time you told a girl you loved her? He's like, oh, it's been years. It was that day. That's why I asked. And then I would write a letter to him and then I'd go over to his house. And he would put me to bed in his frozen hellscape. And then he would go to the foot of the bed and look at my like sweet cherubic little snoring face at the foot of the bed where the computer was and type Holly back and then come to bed. So I'm like, now what do I do? Because now he doesn't want to come to perversion. And like, I'm done. Like, I'm just done. And this was the only relationship, because now, like, I don't need any evidence. We're good. Check, please. But this was like the one where I was like, no, I'm going to prove to you that you're a total monstrous piece of shit. And then I'm going to feel great about myself. And like, so I kept going like deeper into this rabbit hole because there was going to be that aha moment. And like the aha moment like never came because, Grandma, what are you talking about? And like, oh, I only lifted her skirt because it's an inside joke. And like, you know, I joined Match.com because, you know, whatever. Like there was always something. So I'm like, not today. So I wrote a letter to him from Holly Woodman at hotmail.com. And I wrote him every immature, mean, unhinged, crazy thing that girls should never say to a man if you want to save any face on this planet, ladies. But I didn't have to be dignified because I was Holly Woodman, the one-eyed stripper. Well, we'll get to the one eye in a second. So I wrote this letter out and I called my mom and I'm like, hey, I'm going to work. I need you at midnight to get into the unsent messages on hollywoodman@hotmail.com, and I need you to press send. Do it at midnight. Don't do it before I get to work or I don't have an alibi.
Right.
And allegedly, my mom's down for a good game and it's like, gotcha. So I'm like at work, and of course I'm dressed like $1 million. I had this like vintage Chinese Shang salmon, and my makeup was like looking all good and everything, because I was like, okay, when the shit hits the fan, like I want to look fabulous. And so it's like midnight, and I'm like, I hope she sent it. Like I don't have any verification of whether or not like he gets this email. Like I'll just have to talk to my mom in the morning. Like I can't wait. So it's like 12:15. It's probably a 17-minute car ride from where he lived. And he comes busting in the front door of perversion in his pajamas. Hair not done, makeup not done. He looks like garbage. And he is on a mission. And the moment I saw that, I knew he had no idea that I was Holly, because Holly's message to him said,
yes, I was just going to ask, like, what did it say?
You sack of shit. I went to the club, got there early. You said you were so popular. Of course, I asked the girl at the information booth if she knew where you were. And the girl laughed in my face and said, you must be mistaken. That's my boyfriend. And I said, no, we met on Match.com. Clearly, I'm dressed like a dirty secretary because he says he likes dirty secretaries and latex fetish wear, and he'll tie me up if I want. And she laughed and she was like, listen, we've had our trust issues in the past. Oh, another thing was Holly asked suspect one, why did you break up with your last girlfriend? Mm-hmm. And suspect one said, oh, because she was a trust issue. And I'm like, wait, you're typing her this as I'm in your bed and you're writing the stripper on Match.com that you don't even have a photo of. Okay, this is good. So she says, fat tomboy, that girl was gorgeous. And you will never get anybody as great as her again. And she says you wear colored contacts in women's underwear. Where I come from, that means you're gay, sweetie. Like just everything like rude and unhinged. He did wear women's underwear. He got them from the Victoria's Secret catalog. Listen, I was over there once. I brought a bag to sleep over. He put on my underwear. He's like, oh, these are actually like really comfortable. Take them off. This joke's over. Take them off. Like, oh, no, I kind of like these. And so he ended up buying a couple pairs for himself, women's underwear. So he did wear women's underwear. Again, please refer to Butt Brother Blowout. Thank you. So she said, she brought her flower and all this stuff. And I met the girl and she was great. She said that, you guys have had your problems in the past, but that you were going to be fucking cool with her. Like all these things that had happened, that you weren't, being skeezy. And like you, looking back at our emails, like you pursued me. I never said anything sexual to you. I was looking for friends and fun. You were the one like coming in hot.
Yeah.
And Molly didn't believe me, but she did give me her email address. So I have forwarded her every single one of our letters so that she can see exactly who you are. Also, she said that you're still obsessed with your ex-girlfriend, who I guess is trying to be like a mortician. I hope the next time she sees you, she's giving you a Y incision with a chainsaw. Like it was just like the rudest stuff. It was so stupid. Any dumb insult that I just thought, that'll poke the bear. Like I was just putting it all down. So when he comes barreling in the door to perversion, well, I don't know that you can barrel if you weigh 100 pounds, but anyway, he comes in. My friend Steve's working the door. And he's like, Molly, whatever, like trying to get my attention. And I'm just looking hot as hell. And I'm standing in my coat check window, just like, grooving to the music, watching everybody on the dance floor and stuff. And he cannot get my attention. So he pays $10. He comes around the curtain into the club and he's standing in front of my face because he really needs to do damage control. And I really need to tell you, like, whatever emails you get, because he had gotten the email. And it was so real at that point, seeing his panic, knowing that he had to do damage control. He really thought he was talking to that girl. And he really thought he was going to meet her for a date at my work. It's the city of Los Angeles, sir. There's 10 million people here. Go meet her anywhere else. Meet her on another night. I only work there on Thursdays. And so even though, like, as a girl, you want to be like, bro, I told you you were a piece of shit. Remember this time and that time and the other time and all that and butt brother blowout. No, you're total trash. I didn't have to say anything because I said it all as Hollywoodman. So I just like shrugged and I was like, and I walked back into the office and he left. Now he starts showering me with all kinds of gifts for months. He sent me this like big, like really cozy robe with my name embroidered on it. And I gave it to my friend Claudia, who made dog beds for like dogs at the pound. And there was like her dog had this beautiful dog bed that said Molly on it because she like made it into a dog bed. And he sent me this like the most flowers I've ever seen in my entire life. And I was still living at that Melrose place. Maybe this place was like a vortex of hell now that I'm thinking about it, because I only lived there for like 2.5 years. So I took him downstairs. There was an old lady who lived downstairs and I gave her these flowers. And she cried. She had never had, flowers. So all the like things that he was trying to like suck me back in with, I turned into these like magical, happy things that really like made people's day, which was like so good. And then I felt good because I was like, I felt vindicated. Like you were a sack of shit, but that wasn't enough. So I'm working that night back into the coat check. And it's my job to take all the envelopes and go pay all the, dancers and the DJs and all this stuff. And so one of the DJs comes up to me and she was kind of like a real, like, sort of like hippie kind of girl. But she was also a big gossip. And she was like, hey, Molly, how are you doing? Like, yeah, I don't I actually don't know. This girl came up to my window and she said that she was supposed to be here on a date with Tim. That doesn't make any sense at all. She said that they met on Match.com. She brought this week. I go in my bag. I went to the flower shop before I went to work and I get this like bent rose out of my bag. I'm like, she brought this flower for him. She knew all about him. She's going to forward me like all of these emails, I guess. I don't know. It's so confusing because you know how he's like super like form before function. And like, I always have to be like dressed to the nines. There's no way that he saw what this girl looked like. What do you mean? There's no way that he saw this girl There's no way that he knew what this girl looked like and then wanted to go on a date with her. Why would she look like? I mean, she had one eye. She had one. I mean, it fucking wasn't there. She had one eye. Really? The whole club knew about this one-eyed stripper in like 2 days. He never came back to my work again, ever. It was fantastic. And bonus, he ended up dating that tall girl for like 12 years. Yeah. And she was this like, geeky, awkward, virgin girl. Not anymore. She became a stripper, got her whole body tattooed and like the whole thing. And bonus points, they would go out on the town wearing matching lingerie.
Oh, that's precious.
Upper length gloves and corsets with garter belts. The girl, he said, looked like a man. But brother blowout. I'm just saying. They could be related. But here's the thing. I've never told that story publicly ever before. Because he's going to think that he did no wrong. That somehow I like crafted my way to make a pile of shit out of him. Oh no, sir. You're a pile of shit from the word grandma. Like that was it. And every once in a while, as you get like different, maybe this person and you see the 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon on your friends list. I'll see like one of them. I guess I probably haven't in like 20 years or something. So who knows? Maybe they're both dead. Man, just seeing how their relationship blossomed into this like shit show was just so beautiful. Like that could have been me. I could have been the tattooed stripper.
I know.
And instead, I'm sitting here with you on Valentine's Day.
Oh, I love the story.
I know.
That everyone can sleep well tonight.
My mom says you forgot the one eye part. I feel like I got, there it is, Deb. Yep. Butt Brother Blowout. Yeah, I think it was like Butt Brother Blowout 3 or something. I don't know.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think it was called something like, it was clearly, and he had this other friend, this gay guy who I knew for like a lot of years, and that guy would sleep over a lot, is all I'm saying.
Oh.
They would have boys sleepovers.
You got to love alliteration with porn,
But here's what I think it is. I think that it's not really that he is maybe like inherently a cheater. I really think that he's like kind of more like a woman hater. And here's why I think that. My mom's in the chat. There were instances in which he showed me that there were things that he was interested in that didn't have to do with females. I wasn't interested in that, but he was very interested in that. And which didn't have to do with having a woman in your life in any way whatsoever. And this was before Butt Brother Blowout. But at any rate, I think it comes from a traditional Chinese family. If grandma found out that Butt Brother Blowout was sitting on the TV upstairs, somebody'd be kicked out. So I think he dated these, like, as much as he made fun of me for being a tomboy, I think the boy part was the part that he liked. Oh, and then also one time I wore this dress over. It was an Yves Genet. She was like a 60s, 70s psychedelic, real ugly dresses. And I loved them. Every time I'd go to the thrift store and be like, oh, I found an Yves Genet. Like, because they were real ugly and just like real loud paisleys and stuff. And I wore one over to his house and he was like, you're going to wear that? I was like, yeah, I'm going to wear that. This is like the greatest dress ever. Look how disgusting. Look, it has a little belt. I was like, listen, I'm going to wear this dress every time we go out until you appreciate it. Because I just feel like you're not appreciating this. This is fabulous. You just don't know it. That's probably why he cheated on me. It was the Yves Genet.
Probably. That makes sense.
Yeah. But anyway, If you know suspect number one, don't ever tell him the story. Because I don't want him to feel like, yeah, I knew it was her the whole time. Like, no, you didn't, bro. No, you didn't. You came into my work looking like a train wreck, panicked as hell. But anyway, I don't understand. Awkward, LOL. I don't understand. I don't understand. You're a don't understand. But anyway, that might have been like the last good caper that my mom and I got into. So maybe I should date some more just so that we can have something to do.
Getting capers with your mom again.
This is true. True. People are in Kate's chat. Molly is scary.
I think they meant crafty. They think
My best friend wrote in my high school yearbook, "You're kind of funny, but gross sometimes." That's it. That sums it all up. What a beautiful love story, Becky Lou says. Isn't it?
Well, I know.
Anyway, besides like all that we've gone through, because Danielle, you are being very close-lipped, but I have heard some stories come out of your face that would make my Hitler tits story blush in comparison. So you're being very ladylike. But I think what's kind of cool about us is that we're like, we've been through some shit, but I think we both just still totally believe in love.
Yes.
And that there really are good people out there. And that's why we free dive back into a new pot of quicksand and like, okay, that one didn't work out, and on and on.
Absolutely. And I think we change and we learn and we heal. Like, I've gone on a massive healing journey from my previous long-term relationship and, holding myself accountable for what I was doing wrong in the relationship as well. And you definitely, attract what you are. So if you're broken and have, tons of baggage, lots of issues, we all have a little, can't get away from it. You're going to attract people like that, and it'll be cyclical. And it's, a lot of people think, I keep attracting these horrible people. What's wrong? Why can't I find a good one? This part of it has to do with you. I think I mentioned this in a previous podcast, this concept of, you attract what you are, and then people will say, well, I'm a really good person, but I keep attracting toxic people. I don't agree with that. And so I'm a little that way. And so another wonderful person that has a podcast that I listen to said, you attract what you cultivate. And so, the universe is going to bring you all kinds of people, good, bad, in between. But where you put your focus and where you cultivate, that's on you. And so if you keep engaging with toxic people, you have to step back and be like, maybe, just maybe, I might have been doing this for a long time in my life. Engaging and cultivating the toxic people. And it has to do with trauma and mental health and all of that jazz. So going on a journey, taking time to be single for a while, especially if you've been in a long-term relationship and you break up, and working on yourself, that's a good thing. So that when you go back into the dating cesspool, you can, be a better version of yourself and have that confidence. I'm reading a really awesome book right now called It Begins With You by Jillian Turecki. It just came out. She's an amazing relationship therapist. And it's all about, I'm not say fixing, I'll say healing yourself, like taking a good hard look at yourself and your patterns, the type of people you continue to go out with, the kind of people that you chase versus push away, and how you can, heal that. And you should be doing that before you start another relationship. And at the end of the book, it talks about number one person to love is yourself.
I feel like I have that part of it. Here's the thing. I used to date some real dogs. And then I just got like kind of done with it. And then I became really dismissive. Nope. And then my friend Claudia got into my head. Dog bed Claudia got into my head and said, "You're kind of a bitch. Like, I feel like, like if you want to be good in a relationship, you have to know when to pick your battles and like what things are truly impasses before my mom married my dad in 1922, she went on a date with this guy who spit on the sidewalk, and she said, "That's it. I will never date him again. He is dead to me. He spit on the sidewalk. How disgusting." And then she married my dad, and lucky me. So I think there were like small things that I was like, next. And Claudia was like, you need to learn how to be more forgiving and to pick your battles and all this soft, nice stuff. And I internalized that as, you should date losers. And the moment you see that red flag, keep going. Like, so after that, and that was at that apartment building. And so then after that, I went on a string of these, like, what is going on here? Dates, or like after the grandma thing, I should have been like, this is my stop. And like, that should have been the end of it. Why would you see this sign that says, like toxic dump ahead and be like, step on it. Let's get there. Like why?
Here's my spot. Yeah.
Right. Now I feel like I have a real good balance of it. I do let a lot of things, who I dated last. I have a real good sense of like, I can be very forgiving of certain idiosyncrasies. But then there are certain things where I'm like, this is where I get off the runaway train. But it's just a matter of like finding somebody that like their idiosyncrasies aren't butt brother blowout, and
Yes, that was a big thing I learned over these past 2 years, as I hadn't dated for 20 years, and then about 2 years ago I started getting back into the dating pool. And I made a lot of mistakes. And one of the biggest ones was I was dating based on chemistry, not compatibility. So it's like, you meet somebody and it's like, oh, we like the same music, or we like going to the same things. We like the same, memes of people falling downstairs, which is my favorite. If you like people falling, you're my people, and it's like, that's all chemistry. And it's like, you could find a billion people like that. But if you want an actual long-term relationship, which if you don't, no judgment, go get it. But if you want a long-term relationship, you have to look into the compatibility with people of, what's their lifestyle like? What are their ethics? What are their, codes?
Yeah.
How do they treat people? What does a relationship look like? What's their schedule look like? Do they want to live with you? Do they want kids? Do they not want kids? Are they allergic to cats and you have 10,
Right. Are they deciding that they've already decided they're going to retire in Russia or whatever?
Exactly. I love earlier, I inadvertently quoted Whitney. I didn't even realize. Greatest love of all.
Don't mess with Kara and Whitney.
I'm
in big trouble.
I love Whitney.
I already am the only one brave enough to use the Whitney emote. Yeah, but we talk about that a lot. Like, be really picky from the beginning on like the important stuff. When you're in the dating app, like, who cares like what, how tall he is, what race he is, whatever. But like, yeah, if he lives 4,000 miles away, we're done here. Like, how are you going to go out for coffee? Like, that's not reasonable.
Yes.
Girl, it's true.
Absolutely.
Girl, that's not Whitney Houston. It's not Whitney Houston.
Oh, I made it on the good list.
Oh, Molly dated both Millie and Vanilli. Kate, you wish. I don't know if Kate's like ever. Oh no, Kate met the drunk guy that I dated. That I ended up being a cop because of. And I remember she saw a picture of him and she was like, "Oh my God, he's white!" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Oh, come on. Like, no, I don't know what you're... So? That guy was a loser for another reason.
But to get back to loving yourself, we did a podcast, I don't even know how long ago, it seems like just yesterday, on mental health and being happy and loving yourself. And that is, if you are alone on this magical day created by the marketing industry, and you do want a partner, you do want, like, hey, one day I'd love to have somebody to kick in the ribs when they're snoring at night next to me. In the interim, the hardest thing is this feeling of like, I'm lonely. Like, oh, I'm lonely. I wish I had somebody. My 12 cats aren't doing it. I really wish I had somebody else there. The work to do in the interim is on yourself. Like, there's also this concept of like making your life so full, like you don't need anyone else. I struggled with that concept as well. I was like, well, if that my life's that full, then I don't need anyone. I wouldn't be dating anybody at all. But I, look at it as making your life full so that when someone comes into it, you don't get like codependent or make your life about theirs, or like, you like volleyball? I was just going to join a league, and you have your own shit, but then have space to bring somebody in. So I'll go really quickly. We're already over the 2-hour mark.
I know we are.
So I'll go really quickly, and we'll maybe make a whole other episode on it. But here's 10 things you can do today, whether you're with somebody or not. They're just good shit to do. Make yourself 1% happier. So first is exercise or move your body. If you're laying on the bed all day, I know. But it could be anything. You roller skate all the time. That's moving your body. Roller skating, walking, jumping jacks, canoe, whatever your thing is, move your body. There's tons of, I do exercise lady on YouTube, this lady I follow, and I do my living room exercises every morning, and that's it. And it makes me feel so good.
Every morning at what time?
I get up at 5 a.m. I'm committed to it. It's something I want to do, and it helps my mental health. Next is sleep. We talked about that earlier. Sleep, you have to sleep. Yeah, we could do a whole podcast on sleeping, about the temperature of the room, the light, your mattress, eating too late, drinking alcohol too late, all that jazz. You need to get rest.
Using an inhaler full of crack at 2:51 in the morning.
Don't use an inhaler at 2 in the morning.
Tell that to my lungs.
Next is I put on here read or doing Audible. I do Audible now. I didn't like the concept at first, but now I listen to it while I do chores, and I'm getting through like a book every 2 weeks. But educate yourself, learn something new, any topic at all. You can literally learn something new in a book, or, read all of these relationship self-help books like I'm doing. And it goes with it. Next one is a hobby. Get yourself something that you like to do, and that could be anything. God, there's a billion zillion hobbies out there. I got a new drum set last year, and I'm relearning the drums, which is really fun. And it's exercise on top of it. And I go down in the basement like a little creepy witch, and I just make my noise, and it's fun. The dog comes down there. It's a lot of fun. And it's something to do too when you're feeling down, depressed, like have anxiety or nervous energy, having a hobby. Another one I started and I stopped. I made like 16 scarves, was crocheting. But that was really great. Like, sitting there counting, it was distracting, and I was making scarves for everyone in the neighborhood. So finding something like that can be fun. And then getting outside. It's hard now, at least where we're at is winter. It's cold, but just put your coat on, take a walk around the block. If you have a dog, take the dog for a walk, or just a short thing. Getting outside, getting that, just the air and the sunshine, no matter how cold it is, makes a massive difference.
Hot tip: if you lock your keys in your car, then you can panic walk to the fire station to use the phone. And you get exercise, get that sunshine.
There you go. You could get like 3 things at once there.
I know what they did. They sent somebody to unlock my door, and then they told the tweakers next door, hey, her door's open. Just like, let her know. The tweakers, every time I walk out my door, do you have any toilet paper? Hey, can I have a trash bag? Like, do you have any extra food? Like, you guys are on so much government money, you're literally smoking it and waking me up at 2:51 in the morning. I believe the answer is go to hell. And the other day, because people from the fire department came over, because it was the whole thing, and they were inside my unit, and I was like, yeah, this pile was like even bigger. And I've really been taking a lot of stuff to, Goodwill or whatever. And so I just feel like I'm really paring down and all the stuff. And so we walk out, and first of all, I'm totally quiet because my voice is in that whisper, like I didn't have a voice yet. And so we walk out, and the little hobbit meth tweaker from next door is like, hey, if you have any extra, like anything that you're going to take to Goodwill or whatever, like, we don't really have anything. So like, if we could like, just look like, no, I'm not giving you anything. I'm not giving you anything but a middle finger when the moving truck comes 13 days after it just dropped everything off No, I'm not giving you anything. I already feel like garbage enough about where my life is at this very present moment that I'm not watching you walk to the trash can wearing my sweater. It's not happening. No, light it on fire. What a...
Oh my
I
God.
want to hear Molly's tips next.
Yes.
Carlos, you know I have no tips.
All right.
I don't know what to tell you. Kara's 4 for 4 though.
Some tips. I have a few.
Keep going so we can get Kara off this list, because right now she's got a gold star and we got to take that away from her.
Oh, all right. There's just a few left. Next one is make plans. So go out there, make plans with your friends, have dinner once a month, go find an activity you all can do. Say yes to any time anyone invites you to go somewhere. It's just awesome. I've started doing that more, even though you don't want to. I mean, just go out and get out there. This real quick segue in terms of dating, online dating is probably the most common way people meet each other nowadays, even though it's disgusting and gross. But you can go on Meetup and go out there and find activities, a hiking club, a photography club, a movie club, anything. That's also a great way to meet not only singles, but people that like the same shit you do. So you can get out that way if you don't have a whole lot of friends like me. Mm-hmm. Or your friends are not in your state. Next is volunteer. So makes you feel good about yourself. Volunteer your time. Molly is an excellent volunteer. Go volunteer to help clean up your local park. Volunteer at, food banks, places packing up stuff, for our unhoused neighbors. There's a lot of cool things to do out there. Next, I'm really bad at this. I put breathe, meditate, or gratitude. So basically taking time each day to just meditate. Molly knows, she tells me I'm supposed to meditate. So does all my doctors. I'm a nervous little ball of energy.
Right. You don't even need an inhaler. You're just constantly at 140 beats a minute.
I'm constantly hyperventilating. Or take time and do some gratitude. What are you grateful for today? Pick 5 things. This is a lovely habit people do, is they wake up every morning and write a list of 5 things they're grateful for. So it's awesome.
I'm grateful for you, Danielle. Thanks for the diabetes.
You're the least I can give you. Next is eat healthy and drink water. But, except for, Valentine's Day, you can have some candy, but, your body is an engine. So and drink water. You're giving yourself glucose right now. It's fine. And then the last thing is a little extra, it's not going to apply to everyone, is, either therapy or treatment. If you're having a rough time and you need, could be counseling, could be therapy, could be group therapy, could be anything, even a friend. Molly is one of my therapists.
Yeah, just somebody who gets you.
Somebody that gets you and that can give you a different perspective to look at stuff. So those are all awesome things. I did want to say there is a circle of one put, the only people shorter than him are in the Lollipop Guild. Random story about me when I was little.
He's talking about Tom Cruise. Listen.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean that nobody wants my boyfriend but me? Well, then I guess I'll just have him. Thank you.
My dog's barking in the background. Hang on 1 second. When I was little and my mom would work on the weekends, she would have my dad babysit me, but he always would go to the racetrack because that's where he was. And when he was at the racetrack, he didn't have time to watch me, so he'd leave me with random people, and he often would leave me with these 2 little people, and they were the Lollipop Guild from the original Wizard of Oz.
That's so cool.
Lots of pictures with them. I tell people that story, and they're like, "No."
And weird that they hang out
Yeah.
afterwards. I mean, I guess it's like anything together.
Yeah.
My sister said, forget about Molly's taste in men. Her taste in candy is suspect. She likes circus peanuts. Well, listen, baby sister. Considering that they make them for the entire country, it's not only me buying them. So what say you? They're delicious. They're all squishy and happy. I love sugar. It really is my crack. My girlfriend Marie and I did a no sugar thing for 30 days. And I need to tell you, I know it was awful. Didn't you feel terrible? And then Randy came to town and we ate some like ding dong thing that was like terrible. And I was like, I feel high. This is the best I've ever felt in my life. Because I hadn't had any sugar for like 4 weeks. And like I finally ended up like popping open a drawer and I'm like frantic. And I ate like a whole drawer full of like old cough drops. It was like,
I remember that.
I was like, didn't have anything good in my house. And like right now, I wish. So, in case that you think that I don't like sugar, there is sugar basically. And this is just what's like on my desk. A random apple, that's old. And a random grapefruit. This apple is never going to get eaten. These other things and these beautiful packages.
Maybe it's a candy apple.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
If you want to put some like something on it, I'll do it. I got candy everywhere.
Well, we are well over our time, so I don't know if we want to wrap it up.
Yes, thank you to everyone.
People get on with their lives.
Speaking of shitty crack dens, I'm going to be moving the next 2 weeks. So, because apparently the urgent care doesn't want me to come back. The kind doctor, my angel, did put into my prescription that I'm not allowed to have any more cough drops. So, but I will not have any more cough drops. And guess what? Like, how much better is my voice now?
That's awesome.
So this is it. That's it. It's absolutely being there. Because you wake up just like coughing. Anyway, there's a really great hotel. I'm not going to tell anyone where it is. Not that anybody's going to come find me there tonight. It's only $59 a night.
Wow.
That's pretty good. No, and it's clean. It's totally clean. Nice. So I'm good. Bring it on. You want to try to take me to court over your lease or your crack den? Let's do this. I will make a show about it. We will live stream from the courthouse, sir. I cannot wait. I just cannot wait. The binder that I have collected should terrify any human being on this earth because you pushed me to my limit. I just wanted to be able to at 3 a.m, and you couldn't accommodate that. So this means war. So, yay, we got ammo. It's just like cigarettes. It feels great until 30 minutes later. I don't have a down. If I had a low, it's like people who like see my Taco Bell fetish and they're like, I can never eat that. Okay, well, I can. Like, I'm a human raccoon. I'm a garbage disposal, and it doesn't have any problem. So doing shots of honey is a new one for me. Stick around, kid. I'll show you things. There's sweet couch cushions. Oh,
the circus peanuts.
Circus peanuts? Yes. Listen, they're great. Same with candy corn. I don't have any candy corn, but I do have America's most hated candy right within my reach. Black licorice. I love black licorice. I understand it's polarizing. Kind of don't care. We should do a candy show. And I will live chew a candy that we have named the Devil's Dick. Because apparently it's the worst thing you could put in your face. All right. I named it that. It's written in Japanese, but I...
Well, ASMR on the show. Do you have any more shows coming up?
So I'm going to take 2 weeks off, I think. On the Kate Awakening show on Rumble. I think next Friday, Kate, you want to tell them, I think you're doing Boys Club, which is all girls, fun chat. So I think they're going to do that next Friday, but I'm not certain. I also want to plug the Department of Winning on Telegram and Twitter. It's been a real good time. This is all kind of new technology for me. So if you want to be my friend, I don't have a whole lot. But it's just a good time. It's like a great place to meet people, especially people who are interested in the world and people that are funny. I mean, who doesn't need more people that are funny? So it's called the Department DEPT of Winning, and they're going to have some fun announcements coming up. Now I have the hiccups. I thought it was going to be Boston baked beans. I don't know what those are. I'm not into those. Oh, Kate does like black licorice. There's a saving grace for you, I guess. But Randy will be back March 7th, which is a Friday. So 3 Fridays from now. I don't even think I'm going to do my Wednesday shoes for a while. Did I mention, perchance, that I need to move out of this crack den today? Done. So that's what I'm going to be working on. I'm sure I will regale you with all kinds of fun stories. I took some real tasty photos of the building today, so that's good. That's in the binder. Maybe I will share my binder and we can talk about court stories where I may have accidentally spilled the beans about evidence that wasn't supposed to be revealed that made the entire jury gasp and convict the guy. That was an accident, I'm just quite certain. So thank you, everyone. Love you. I mean, you've watched this long, so you might as well give it a little think-a-do, maybe. Just a little, give it a tiny, small little circus peanut. Just a small little circus peanut. And like whenever you want to come and do another one, Danielle, let's fucking rock.
You can even see the Chinchi over here.
I know. I was watching him run around. Okay, now I have to take I'll get to that. I have to take the YouTube off. Okay. Because YouTube.